Hello and welcome. In today's video I'm going to be showing you which trees get the most amount of wood. In order to do so, I'm going to be breaking down the wood farming mechanics, and at the end of the video I'm going to be showing you a few extra tips about collecting wood. We'll start off with the different tiers of tools. So of course, first you start off with your rock, then you quickly get a stone hatchet, a metal hatchet, a salvaged axe, and then into a chainsaw. You can of course use a bone club or a salvaged hammer as well, however these are the main ones you're going to be using. Each tool has a base amount of wood that they'll collect, starting with 10 for the rock, 20 for the stone hatchet, 30 for the metal hatchet, 50 for the salvage axe, and then the chainsaw only gives 30, but obviously it's a lot quicker. However, in practice, when you're farming a tree with a red X, you're only going to be getting half of that value. The reason is because once you knock down the whole tree, you'll get all of that wood that you missed out on as a bonus at the end. So for example, with the rock, you'll start off by hitting the tree and only getting 5 wood, but once you knock down the entire tree, you'll get roughly a bonus of 200. Furthermore, if you hit the red X, the amount of wood that you collect will increase, capping at double the rate that you started at. You have to hit the red X 8 times in order to reach this cap, and because we started out at half of the value that I showed you earlier, you'll cap out at the original value that I showed. However, that being said, you still do get the bonus at the end, meaning that if you're hitting a tree which has a red X, you're going to be collecting more wood than if you were hitting the ones without it. So obviously this means you want to hit the red X every time, however you're not losing any progress if you miss it once, you're just being slightly less efficient. So generally speaking, unless you have no other options, you don't want to hit the logs which have fallen over, as these will never have red X's on them. And in some cases, the very small trees won't have red X's either. The only time you ever want to hit these is if you only need a small amount of wood and you don't want to finish off the entire tree. This is really common if you just need a little bit more wood in order to craft your next tool, weapon, or some arrows. Another thing I noticed is that there's 3 different categories of trees, small, medium, and large. I'll be using a metal hatchet for the analysis, but keep in mind that the numbers will scale up or down depending on the quality of your tool. Small trees will take around 5 swings and drop you around 100 wood. Medium trees will take around 12 swings and drop you close to 500 wood, and large trees will take around 16 swings and drop you closer to 800 or 900 wood. Pretty simple maths will tell you that the collection is increasing exponentially, so therefore the larger trees are obviously better. But then my next question was, which biome is the best? The most obvious answer to me was the forest, because it's abundant in large trees and they're all in a very close proximity, which means you don't have to go far in order to farm them. If we head over to the snow, you can also get snow forests, however the trees are slightly more spread out. Of course, that can be a good thing if you don't want to get jumped, but it does mean that for farming the most amount of wood in the smallest amount of time, it's definitely slightly less efficient. Finally, we have the desert, where the trees are a lot shorter and they're all spread out. Obviously, this seems like the worst place to farm wood, but the analysis actually goes a little bit further than that. If you look at the specific wood gathering rates, for the same amount of hits that it takes to knock down a snow tree or a forest tree, I actually found that I was getting anywhere from 10 to 15% less wood from the desert trees. So not only are there less trees in the desert, but you're going to be getting lower rates as well. Another place to collect wood is along the shore. You can farm the driftwood. I never used to do this because there's no red X, therefore there's no multiplier. However, something interesting to note is if you farm larger piles like this one, you actually get a 40% bonus. It's not quite as good as the red X, but it's definitely much better than farming the small piles like this one, which give you no bonus at all. And a huge tip for you solo players out there, if you're farming wood, you don't want to actually finish off the entire tree. Instead, you want to get it down to one hit so that you can finish them all off in one go. If you listen closely, the tree will start to make a shaking noise when it's close to breaking. And then at the end, you can come along and one tap all the trees. The reason this is beneficial is because when a tree falls, it makes a large noise. So you want to make that noise quick and get out. And another tip for gathering wood is if you have the right tools and live close enough to outposts, it's much more efficient to farm stone nodes and then trade it in for wood. If you get lucky and do this early at wipe, sometimes the wood stacks will go higher than 1k. Another thing to do is if you get a full inventory of wood, you can mass craft TCs and carry a lot more wood back to your base. And that's all the information I have for you today. In general, the larger the tree, the better, and you want to stay away from the desert if you find yourself constantly running out of wood. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.